Arsenal are going to struggle this season. I don't know how many times before the season even started I had to listen to these guys telling me the manager's not good enough, the team's not good enough, Man City are going to be better this season. They had an off season. Look at the players they've got. Look at the manager they've got. And when it comes to Liverpool, don't even question it. Because the manager's better than Arteta. The players are already better than Arsenal's team and they've just spent 500 million. So how are Arsenal going to be able to compete? These are the kind of things I had to listen to as an Arsenal fan. They used to tell me, Arteta at no point this season is going to find himself in first position because he's not good enough to lead this team to the Premier League title. And most of us Arsenal fans just sitting there listening to this absolute waffle and are now just looking like, because I don't need to talk, because my players do the talking for me. Yuri Timber speaks. Gabriel, Saliba, Declan Rice, Bukayo Saka. You better believe that left foot talks, boy. I don't need to do the talking. I don't know how many times they told me that Arteta's going to struggle. Arteta isn't the right guy. And this isn't going to be one of them, oh, look, I told you Arteta's good enough, because we haven't won anything yet. But the truth is they tried to put us down before we even had a chance. And now even these negative Arsenal creators are struggling for stories because they're starting to realise Arsenal might actually win it this season. Arsenal have actually got a good chance. Liverpool are looking rocky. Man City are looking rocky. The only team who's looking brilliant is Arsenal. How many goals have we conceded this season? How good are Arsenal looking this season? We get ourselves in a rhythm and it's like, who's going to stop us? Again, I'm not saying we're going to breeze through this title, but again, the noise was so loud surrounding this manager. How long did we have to hear these people telling us Arteta's not going to be in first position through any point of this season? We're about 5, 6, 7 games in and already he finds himself in top spot just because we lost to Liverpool one game. They told me this manager wasn't good enough. Look, now they're starting to believe. Let's speak about that West Ham game. In general, I don't think the game was mesmerising. I didn't look at that performance and think, oh my God, that's champions. Look, we're blowing West Ham away. But guess what? We didn't need to. Arsenal got the win. You're not going to look your best week in, week out. But all I ask of this Arsenal team, find a way to win when you're not playing your best. Again, we was never in danger in that game. Not for 1 second. Did I think Arsenal were capable of losing that game? But there were some talking points. Some players performed better than others. There was a bit of shakiness in some areas of the pitch. But again, we just done what we needed to do. The main talking point I'm seeing people speak about is this Bukayo Saka and Victor Gyökeres situation with Bukayo Saka taking the penalty. Look, if people want my opinion, yes, I think Victor Gyökeres should be taking that penalty. I know Bukayo Saka was the captain in that moment. I know Bukayo Saka's been at the club longer, so he probably thinks, no, this is my right. I was at this club first. I'm the penalty taker. I'm going to take it. But me being, I don't know, whatever I am, I think the centre forward should be taking those penalties. We've seen how good Victor Gyökeres is. Some people might say it's not even a talking point, but it is because people are talking about it. For me, I would let Victor Gyökeres take that penalty. I think we need to get him in some goal-scoring form because there's a lot of noise around Victor Gyökeres at the moment. People thinking, is this the right guy? Is he good enough? Look, he's struggling at the minute. People haven't heard me say that yet. He's not at the top level that I would want to see him at. He's not been awful, by the way, but in the last game, he struggled. Against Newcastle, I actually think he played very, very well. But in that game against West Ham, we did look at these next set of fixtures and think if there's ever going to be a point in time where Victor Gyökeres can maybe build up some steam, we expected to start seeing it now. We're going to have to wait now because, there's an international break coming up. When Victor Gyökeres comes back, there are still a run of fixtures where he can build up some steam and be that striker that most people thought he would be. Again, he's never going to be the most technical. Playing these sharp little 1-2s and spinning in behind and taking on 3 or 4 players, getting it into the box and then whipping it in the top corner. This guy's a finisher. This guy's a poacher. This guy's likes to run into channels. He can take 1 or 2 on in the left-hand side and then bend it round the keeper. But he's not going to be involved in every single passage of play. We've had that discussion before. But I think Arsenal are in a very good position. Most people, and again, you have to be careful with who you listen to because you're hearing the media and they're starting to build this narrative that Arsenal should win the Premier League this season. I would say as an Arsenal fan, there's no God-given right that you deserve to win the league. At the minute, Arsenal look like the best team. But we see how things can change so quickly in the Premier League. You can't count all your chickens before they hatch. You can't say, well, Arsenal are top after 7 games, so they deserve to win the Premier League. Right now, Arsenal are the best form team in the Premier League and probably one of the most informed teams in Europe. If you're looking at defence, Arsenal are clearly the best defensive team in world football. It's just in them going forward positions. Now, because I said Yarez deserves the penalty, that doesn't mean I'm not happy for Bukayo Saka, by the way. Bukayo Saka, in the last couple of games, is scoring goals again. Something we need to see. Last season, his numbers were affected because of the fact that he was out for so long with injury. I don't want to see the same again this season. And the fact as soon as we get Bukayo Saka back for the past couple of games, he's on the score sheet. That's brilliant. He needs to continue that. These defensive players, Yuri Timber, right now is the best right back in world football. People can clip me up and say I'm talking rubbish. Find me a better right back in world football. Now, over the past few seasons, you can give it to Hakimi because he's been there. But at the minute, Yuri Timber, defensively, is unbelievable. And he's even adding that to his game where he's getting forward. We've seen he's had a couple of goals this season already. That defence, I never feel in danger. You know, when teams are like breaking on us, I never feel like it did a few seasons ago. You know, when you're just sitting there with your hands in your head thinking, oh God, there's going to be a gap. There's going to be a vulnerability. You remember when Gabriel used to give away them silly penalties, getting red cards, Xhaka as well. We don't have those vulnerabilities in this team anymore. You've got players like Miles Lewis-Skelly who can't even get into this team. That's a good thing, by the way, because it means players ahead of him are performing at such a level where it's like you're just not able to get into the team yet. Doesn't mean you don't have a future at the club. You want all your best teams trying to get into the team. You want players like Trossard playing at their best. Martinelli, Eze. Like, Eze was a bit of a difficult one yesterday because he missed that chance. And apart from that, I actually thought he done quite well. Missed an open goal. But then you've got players like Declan Rice, who is so far having the season of his life. Declan Rice is unbelievable. You're to think he's one of the only players in world football who's actually living up to that name tag of being a £100 million player. You look over the seasons of players who have gone for over 100 mil, and they've all fell by the wayside. All of these players who go for big money can't deal with that price tag. They always kind of buckle under the pressure. Someone, like, you don't even speak about the price tag of Declan Rice because it's not a conversation. Because he just performs to that level week in, week out. He's one of the best players in the world. We're seeing players like Wirtz come in for Liverpool and stink it out. Like, he doesn't even look good enough to get into most top 4 teams. And that's the reality. Wirtz is a quality player. In Germany, he was so good. Come to Liverpool and he's not able so far to deal with a price tag. You look at Isak, even he's turned rusty. And that was a player who come from another Premier League team. So he has that pedigree. So again, players like Declan Rice who keep dragging this team through. This is what you need if you want to go on to win the title. You need those guys who can make a change, who can make the difference in those games where it's not quite going your way. When your striker's not scoring, you need one of the other boys to step up and say, listen, boys, I've got this today. This is on me. Drag your team through. Make that decision. Find that moment to get the 3 points. That's all we have to keep on doing. There's teams out there who are going to play a massive part in this title race. I'm thinking teams like Chelsea. I'm not saying they're going to go on to win it, but they're kind of good enough to beat the teams who are in and around or capable of doing it. There's still 3 teams who are capable of winning it. Man City, Liverpool and Arsenal. And I still believe teams like Aston Villa, Newcastle, Chelsea will have a say in the title race, even though they won't be directly competing for it, because these are the teams who are good enough to cause an upset. When Arsenal are running away with it, we might get beat by an Aston Villa or a Chelsea away. That's just the way this title is going to go, because we've just seen it with Liverpool. Liverpool was scraping through games, but they had that mentality. People kept praising them for that winning mentality. It doesn't matter how we're playing. All that matters is you keep going on to win games until they're not. And now all of a sudden it's like they've lost 3 in a row and there's questions. You're starting to see their big media creators turn on the manager, because it's like you can't do this every week. It's only good until if you're winning. As soon as you start losing, them games where you've been scraping by, you start to identify and look through a magnifying glass and you say, well, we haven't been good all season. We scraped by through Arsenal after getting dominated with a Szoboszlai free kick from the gods. Other teams as well, they shouldn't have won it and they scored in the last minute. And now you're seeing Chelsea do it to them. You saw last week another team do it for them. Arsenal are in a position where they're playing well enough to keep winning these games. Again, we're not blowing teams away, winning 5 or 6-0, but we don't need to. We're comfortably better than most teams in this league, and we need to keep playing like that. The only negative I can give to you guys is that Martin Odegaard's injured. Right now, at the moment in time of recording, there's no news. There's kind of a bit of a whisper that it might be an MCL injury. If it is that, then it's terrible. Like I said, at the time of recording, this isn't actually made official yet. By the time you're listening to this video, because I'm putting it out tonight, it might have come out. Hopefully it's not an MCL, because that would be massively damaging for Martin Odegaard, the captain of Arsenal. Again, people are saying he needs to improve. I think he's looked quite sharp this season. Yes, he does need to keep improving, but you certainly don't want him out with an MCL injury. It might give you an opportunity to play Eza, but if it's like a grade 2, grade 3, whatever it is, the worst one, then he could be out for a number of months. Let me know your thoughts on everything you've heard in this video. Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, if you could do me a quick favour, just hit like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.